Hi, beautiful souls. This is Srimanju, Katragadda. So, here with Life is Magical podcast number 25. I know there has been a slight delay in releasing this, but I was just working on how to make it a special one as it's the 25th episode and nearly a year into it. So, I just took a little longer, but hope it's worth it for you guys because I'm really enjoying collecting the data, just relooking into myself about the healing and what it is bringing up to me to be here. So my really point is healing a journey? Have you ever thought about it? Have you been in your own healing journey? Or are you beginning to be part of that healing journey? If so, this could be your podcast to listen and sink in. Just take a moment, sit down with a paper maybe, or take some notes that are striking to you. Or if you don't agree yet, that's okay. Not everything everyone has to agree with all. So take in, consume what resonates with you. So with that, let's begin this. So for me, healing is a journey, definitely. And it's been a journey that I have started years ago, even when we were born, right? We all come here to experience this beautiful journey, and some parts of our journey needs a bit more of things that we need to resonate, sit with, experience the life lessons or life experiences and include that in our journey. Some of these lessons could be easy to get through our lives, some could be really difficult, hard, traumatic, or you lose people, the dearest ones, or very challenging as well. But here it is like a mix of all the spices in our life. And saying that, we have this beautiful festival in the springtime we celebrate called Ugadi, which is a New Year festival for most of the Indians in every part of the India. And in that festival, we do celebrate by eating a dish that we prepare in the morning, first thing. It has all the components that are available in the nature, like the sweet one, the sour, bitter, the juiciest one, all these fruits and the ingredient, the flowers, we do include it and consume it. That reminds us how our life is made of every component. So if you think about, like, you could be sad for a very long time and you are only going to witness sadness. There is the liberty or the happiness that comes after or while it is happening. You're going to miss it, and that's where we need to awaken ourselves that we are just not one emotion, we are multiple emotions all at a time. And this is the healing path that we are awakening onto. Now everyone do recognizes them with some spirituality associated with, like, either you could be practicing Reiki like me, or meditations, or pranic healing, sound bath, tapping, anything that you resonate with it. But your life at that moment is resonating because that is what is going to come in and help you. um for me, I always see as healing is that kind of a channel, like a sun rays falling onto each of us. For some skin types, it's good. Some skin types, you get a burn, right? You need to really take extra precautions while you're in the sun, but the rays are all the same that are falling in. So we are all shifting, changing. I have noticed people come on to Reiki at the very beginning stages in their life, or maybe they have discovered some other tools and they want to introduce Reiki at some other part of their life. So what it does is it grounds us. It allows us to anchor our mind, body, spirit connections in alignment, pumping that life force energy into our energetic field around us, within us. And by that, you are working as a whole unit rather than a part of the unit. And after a while, Reiki can be like, okay, this is too much for me, I don't want to do it. And people get on to maybe therapy work, like, become a counselor, or go to a counselor or a coaching, because that is where again a part of our journey has been further up. There are some other tools that we need to be uncovering with. And now think about our life is so beautiful. Just like us, so much is available around us, within us as well. So you will be going deep in you to unravel those treasures within yourself. To dig the ground, you need a couple of shoveling tools, right? And deeper it gets in, different tools are again needed. Sometimes a big instruments, like, or a crane is needed. It depends on how deeper it is. So how deeper our healing path is, how the tools are going to be associated with it as well, or what is that our purpose here that we are bringing in and healing with. So every healing is not the same, that I have understood from my experience, and it can never be the same. Say, for example, I have very much regular clients who come every month religiously, and they show up for their self care time. And every month they do experience different after a session. Either they feel overwhelmed releasing, or bringing the clarity, it could be, or bringing in the peace, it could be. Depends on what's happening at that time in their lives, and also it depends on how my energies I'm holding for them at that moment of time. So with that, the healing is taking different shapes and forms as well, how we are. So that's a good thing, if you get to notice your own journey, right? And yeah, in 12 years of my practice, I have never seen two healing sessions to be the same ever, ever. Like with myself, it could be, or with the clients that I've seen the journey with. So, this is where it shows us how different, how changing we are every day as well. And this beautiful path of the healing leads us into, like, knowing ourselves even further, knowing where we are in our life and what is that we want to achieve. And it leads us into this crisis that we are feeling stuck with, and move out of that crisis stage. Say, you're muddled up, but depending on the emotional roller coaster, but a healing comes in and just gives you the shine of a light, or a hope as well into your life, and that makes you feel connected to yourself. No matter what the healing journey you're taking in, the connection to your inner guide, to your heart center, to your body, to your soul is what it all leads up to, right? Now, there are so many advantages of having a healing session, which I'm going to share in a minute. But before that, like, it's not comfortable. It's not for everyone. Definitely, it freaks us out. It's like getting vulnerable and getting to be yourself. Um, think about, like, you have this beautiful party gown you have to wear, but means you have to take off what you're already wearing, right? And then put this party gown on, or a party wear on, right? And that could be uncomfort because you don't know how it's going to fit into you, or how you're going to look in the new gown. If the one that you're already having, you're super comfortable, you're used to it, something that you are happy about it, even though you want to change, but still something that you have been so used to it, you're happy about it, right? So this is where things are going to change when someone commits to their healing path or healing journey. I do have some clients who come in, and it could be too overwhelming after one session, because that's not what they expected. They didn't think they'll be crying, or they didn't think they will be so vulnerable, um, holding their own space, and that could freak them. And I might see them after a year or 2 years, right? And that is where they will resonate. Oh my god, that freaked me out, or I was so uncomfortable to do the work yet at the time, but now I'm ready. I know what I'm signing up for, what I'm getting into. Sometimes it does pushes us away, and we do resist for the things that are really purposeful for us, that are really meaningful for us. Like, say, hey, how many of you feel like, you need to do some exercise or go for a jog or a run, right? But how many of you actually are still on the couch not making a move? Because when you do that, you'll gain yourself, you'll gain the health you wanted, but yet, like, just to make the first move could be a bit a lag time in your life, and that lag time can turn into an hour, 2 months, to years as well. So that is where it freaks us, it gets into the uncomfort. But afterwards, like, when you can commit, hey, let me give one more try, or one more try, like, let's see what's coming up. It's just that surface, like, you throw some pebbles into the lake, you see the ripple effects, but once it's settling, you can see through the lake beautifully, right? You can see the fishes underneath, or even the lotus or the plants that are growing beneath. You can see it clearly, but we need to have that little patience, understanding where these ripples are coming from, what is that it is teaching us, and how we can hold and release it from us. In terms of, when I say hold, is like, oh, where is this coming from? Is this an incident that happened when I was 12 years old? Okay, I get to understand, I release that now. So you're releasing it, you're giving the permission for you that, okay, it served me, I don't need to hold that anymore. And this is where, if you had a session of any therapy, especially when I say therapies, I'm resonating more with like body work, like a massage. It could be like Reiki, pranic healing, sound bath, tapping, all this. After a while, you will see, oh, I'm feeling lighter, like, I feel good, I feel clear, I feel the clarity coming, I feel good inside out, I feel floaty sensations, because you have released all those ripples in the session for an hour or so. And energy is doing the work, you're not doing the work. Energy is giving, releasing, but you're giving the permission, because it's our human will. We need to agree, like, hey, this is what I want to do now, like, without our permission nothing can happen. And letting that energy do the work, and allow that shift to come in. And afterwards is where you feel that flow kicking in, the good feelings. And this is where it becomes an addictive to do self-care, looking after ourselves. And I show up to be there to love that experience again and again. I book my own time with my practitioners to get some downtime for myself as well. It's so much I do with others, it's also important for me to care for myself too. So here is where that uncomfort comes in. But if you felt uncomfortable with your last session within yourself, show up again. The next time it will be much easier. But here is the thing, if you felt you didn't resonate with energies, maybe change a therapist. Go to another therapist and seek another person who would resonate with your energies. Give it a try. Like, sometimes maybe the day that you met your therapist, maybe not the right energy for you. If you still felt something has been connected, go for it. If not, change. It's okay to change, right? And you have the liberty. There are so many choices right now for us. You can Google up what's near to you. And I also believe in remote work. Like, yeah, if you can't do it being in person, do it remotely. Check in with the energy of the person, like what are they talking about, like get to see the person and then connect with them. And if you resonate, hey, go ahead, like, surrender to this healing process. And also this makes us a lot of us, like, we run away from healing in the fear of we are who we are meant to become. That fear is holding us, because we have been so comfortable with that fear, and we want to be right there, even though it's not helping us to progress, because that fear is holding behind the door. But if you open the door, there is so much of a value, there is so much potential available outside. You want to give, you want to live with the freedom, with that exploration, and just go ahead, get into that magical place, get that little boost that you need for yourself, and become who you're meant to be, rather than hold backwards. Yeah, holding backwards doesn't help us much. Your chakras are going to be misaligned, or you will feel like, hey, I feel sluggish, I don't feel inspired to do anything, and I'm not motivated enough to do even get out of the couch and prepare a meal for me, like, and these things can be shifted as well. If you're listening to me right now and if you feel that way, first thing is look what's available around you. Go book that session and just welcome that healing in your path. No matter if you have been a practitioner yourself, like take time for yourself. It's so important to value yourself as well. And in simple ways, healing is a process of making or becoming sound and healthy and aligned for us, right? And the more you are shining your light from inside, the more you are going to shine others' light around. Family members, friends, your neighborhood, the colleagues that you work with, you're going to make an impact for everyone. Right now in the world, there are many things that are happening. Not everyone is agreeing for everything, or the energies are so harsh. So let's change the shift, right? Why do we need to get sucked into that energy that is draining and drowning us all, but rather change and bring us into the light and let us float, let us live into this present moment, which could be just for a few moments, right? But at least you're making much more healthier choices and contentful choices, and that definitely brings more joy to your life. Yeah, healing is definitely not linear, and it can be received in many ways. Like, you're not going to begin your healing by, hey, what was I when I was born, and what was I when I was a teenager and early 20s 30s. No, when the person is getting the Reiki session, they will have some memories coming in without their influence when they were 3-year old, or when they were 18-year old, or when they had the first crush on a boy or a girl. They will have that memory coming back with no interference, because the healing is going to where it's needed to recollect those parts of us and to bring back. So think about, you have a 10,000 piece puzzle here, and you're going to not know what's the number that you're going to be connecting to. You'll randomly be picking up some puzzles, try to see how they're mapping up, right? In the healing, it's what happens. The journey takes us into collecting what's needed, and from that heart space, it's going to just elaborate and make a face, make a portrait, and then slowly expand to what are the other puzzles where it can fit into. But definitely, it goes in all the different places. Yeah. And I totally believe the healing is for everyone, to keep the well-being. It gives us the inner strength, creates us a self-love, provides a space for growth, and helps in connection to divine, and helps with everyday stuff that we are dealing with. It keeps our sanity, helps in carrying no baggage at all, recovers from injuries, and if you had any surgeries as well, it impacts in a good way that you're recovering faster, and it gives us a better sleep. I'm so into it. If you get a good sleep, your day is much better, trust me. So I recently had this person who hasn't slept in a very long time without the medications. The moment he came into for Reiki, down into the session, 5 minutes he slept off, and he was deep state, and he was surprised by himself that actually he was sleeping without the medications, right? And that is what the healing can do. It restores the balance, benefits in overall growth, and removes the energetic stagnance. Sometimes it's not even the emotions, but the energy field is being tagged constantly with the demands that's being put by the society, the culture, the location, the people around us. And when you release that stagnance, you'll feel see through with clarity rather than the fogginess. And that's one of the most important thing. It allows the chakras to be aligned with all the 7 major chakras and all the minor chakras throughout our body as well. And if you have been dealing with the grief or a trauma, it helps you to be it helps us to be ready to shift our energies and the process around it. Yeah. And helps with the mental clarity. And definitely there is no age limit, who can get a healing. I have been doing Reiki for even for just born baby to a person being transitioned to different realm. Age is nothing to do with the healing. Everyone is going through a journey. So at every point, we need that healing to be coming into. And for me, when the healing comes in, I feel good, I feel lighter. It helps me with my personal growth as well. And now think about all these things. But at the end, don't go with the whole closed mindset of, hey, it's going to um, help in, fixing things, or even saying like my life is miserable, or I'm weak, that's the reason I'm going for a healing session, or I am not sorted myself out. That's not true at all. Even a happy go person will need the healing to keep that happy go energies going on. Years ago, when I was new into Reiki, I used to tell everyone, like, hey, practice Reiki, this is amazing thing, this is crazily good, so simple, so easy to do. And a friend of mine questioned me saying, I'm such a happy person, do you think I'll still need Reiki? And I said, like, of course, to keep your momentum going, you will still need Reiki if you want to give it a try. If you want, this would be one method. And so for someone, it could be meditation, again, saying someone, it could be yoga, right? But there is some sort of energy work if you practice it. It really doesn't matter in what state of a vibe you are. We can always shift and change to higher ones. But now, down the after that conversation, down 5 or 7 years, he was into yoga, he was into meditation completely. I don't know what has happened, but the calling has been there for him, so he's acting to the calling now, which is great, right? So some people will be inspired for some other things, yeah. So definitely, it doesn't mean that when we go for a therapist or a healer, doesn't mean that we have something big issues we need to sort. Of course, maybe some people do have. That's okay. That's good. Like, welcome it all. Or an illness we have, or we are miserable. No, this is all negative reputation, let's say that way. The society has put a tame on us, and that's where we suffer in silence with our mental health as well. But now is the time, if you look about, you'll see even your next door neighbor practices some sort of spirituality or a healing thing that finds peaceful to them. Chanting, many people do it, religious based, but I see it as that's a beautiful meditation they are doing. Even if it's religious, it's meditation that is anchoring them to something. So yes, practice that, what you have been doing with, that's the most important thing. And to be honest, when I started this journey, I was in a corporate working, and very much a left brained, even though since my young ages, I always knew there is something more to life. But the whole society has modulated me to think think from a left brain. I'm also a skeptic, and I love to try and prove myself. Hey, this thing works, so I can only say from my story is, yeah, when I was having the arthritis, when I figured it out, I went straight to the doctors. All the doctors I could get all the tests done, everything at the age of 28. None of them can figure it out what's happening with my body and why it was so destroying. I couldn't barely walk even. And, then they tried the steroids, nothing worked. And that was a moment a friend of mine suggested Reiki, but for my child, not for me. And that was the awakening moment. I started noticing after I was attuned to Reiki and practiced for 6 weeks and showed up for the second class. So after 6 weeks, and we were going around the circle talking about our experiences. That's the moment it clicked to me. Actually, the pains are reducing. I'm feeling good. I'm getting a little sleep. My body is coping a little better than before 6 weeks ago. And that was a momentum. I said, I'm going to take this forever. I'm going to practice this every day of my life. And glad I made that promise to myself. I'm sticking by it. And I'm a typical Gemini, so I don't stick to things sometimes. But this side of my work, I'm really there. I'm enjoying this things that are showing up. So here, even after these many years, I still love what it does, how quickly it does, helped me to surrender to my thoughts, to my body coping better. And I have been chronic free for so long time. And at one stage, I had 60 food allergies, literally 60 food allergies. Even my allergist, she was surprised to see so much of toxin in my body. And after 2 months, when she does the test, like this was right when I was practicing Reiki, she said, I have a new body completely, which has only 6 foods that I'm intolerant to. I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is what healing can do. Then this is my gift for a lifetime, right? And I'm glad I proved myself through those medical records, through those moments where I was at the low point. There was nothing else. Like, literally, it's the dark night of the soul of my self that I was going through those years. And I could wake up. And I'm glad I had these tools to wake up to. And when you doubt it, also look about to see what resonates with you as well. And once you have your validations, your proofs, there is no looking back, because everything that you have done, right? Everything that you have has helped you with. So here, now, turning to you, ask yourself, what kind of healing would you enjoy? And what does healing mean to you? And some days for me, other than my self-healing practice, it could be just relaxing, doing nothing, binging on Netflix, it could be, or binging on YouTube, or some days it could be I would be so good, like literally do my art. Some days I could be like, meditate, and also drink plenty of water, eat very healthy, go for a walk, and practice with the crystals, with Reiki, with the angels, everything I will do, and I feel still good. Even the days that I don't do anything, I'm still doing something deep inside. And resting is not bad. Resting is what your soul needs at the time, and that is a healing journey. And so acknowledge the different aspects of the healing journey that's bringing you, but be okay with what you're doing. Don't be against yourself, because you got your own back. You need to support yourself. That's the most important thing. So hold your back, support yourself, and be with it. And I love combining healing things with different things. I've been doing healing with art, like healing with crystals, healing with cooking, healing with water, healing with walk. There are many ways you can combine it. Healing with writing, and so be that authentic you. Bring those aspects of you, and let that shift come in, and say, check in with yourself between 1 to 10. Where is your number? 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. Where are you right now? And after a healing, check in with yourself. Where is your next number at? Like, I'm sure after healing, the number will go up towards raising your vibration, raising your frequencies, which is where the magic happens. So here is the thing. Life is magical. You got to let that magic spark in yourself, in your soul, at that soul level, so you see the goodness and the value and the gift that you got inside. So with that, I'll let you choose what is the best healing method for you and what brings a joy to you, and go with it, commit, and practice. Hope this is resonating with you guys. So if so, please share, spread, and leave a review or a comment down here. I would highly appreciate it. It's my 25th episode, and life is magical, and you can find more details about my work and offerings that I do at www.S-ri-manju.com. And all the notes are down below, so check out, and lots of love. Take care, guys, and namaste. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu.